Welcome to Inside the Artist's Mind with your hosts, Jay Harmon and Sally Bernard. Jay and Sally have always wondered what the inspiration is that drives others to create and express their art. Inside the Artist's Mind, we'll dive into the mind of the artist and teach us more than we ever knew. Enjoy the show!
Hi, and welcome to Inside the Artist's Mind. This is the show where we talk to creative people about what they do, how they process it, and how it comes out in the final product, and everything in between. And my name is Jay Harmon, and Sally isn't here again today. She wasn't here last week. She hopefully will be back next week. But in the meantime, we have the lovely and talented Michelle Chin as my co-host
Hi.
today. Welcome, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
And we are going to have a really nice conversation today with Kimberly
Kimberly Douglas.
Douglas.
Yes.
Kimberly Douglas. And she has had a lot of experience doing what she does, and I'll let her talk a little bit about how her creativeness is used in the process.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Michelle. It's great to be on the show. Really appreciate it. As you said, my name is Kimberly Douglas, and I am the founder of Flow Film Festival and Film Market.
So tell us about how you got started, a little bit of backstory before we go into the Flow Film Festival.
Well, originally I'm from Hollywood, California. I'm a Valley girl, one of the
Okay.
the last remaining, right? And I ended up coming to Florida College and started my career here in Hollywood, Florida.
Oh, well, you like the name.
Yeah, I love
Hollywood
it.
to
I
Hollywood.
really am. I'm
From
like
sunset to sunrise.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I worked here as an artist, as a actress and model for a few years. Did some indie films, stuff like that, commercial work locally, and then grew up a little bit and decided to try for my market, go basically home. I had family there, so it was a much easier transition than most. Even though a lot of us do make it. And had some success there. So it's been good. That run was really good. And when I started my family, I decided to come from in front of the camera and go behind the camera. And I really enjoyed that. One of my first things was directing. I like that. Now I do script supervision. I also produce. So I get to work with a variety of people.
Oh, that has to be exciting.
It is. It's a different perspective,
Uh-huh.
instead of like I'm not under the microscope anymore, but I kind of get a bird's eye view of everything, which I
Uh-huh.
think is really beautiful way to have like a full picture of our industry.
Yes.
And I love our industry and I love the people in it. So it's just really cool to be able to cater to everybody and like build teams. Yeah, have
Mhm.
everybody bring their best forward.
So from in front of the camera to behind the camera, how the creative process, can you describe the differences between the two?
Um,
Oh, good. We can hear you now.
Okay, we can hear you now.
Excellent. I guess it's more self-determinate behind the camera. In front of the camera, very clear what you're supposed to be doing, and you have some flexibility depending, with your character and stuff
Right.
like that. Behind the camera is like I get to see how everybody's interacting, right? And it's
Uh-huh.
not just the characters in the film; it's like the crew as well. So one thing I've gotten really good at, which I enjoy creatively, is casting. It's not something I do regularly, but
Uh-huh.
when I have the opportunity, I really fine tune it because I did the first in-person casting in Los Angeles during COVID,
Oh,
and people were freaking out for good reason.
Right.
Everybody was doing the self tapes and stuff, but I
Yeah.
found that I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
enjoy it because a lot of the actors would they started doing the teleprompter thing, so it was all monotonous, not engaging.
Yes.
And obviously they're home alone, so they don't have somebody reading with
Yes, I
them. So
know.
that lack of interaction came across flat most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So after about a week of that, I was like, nope, everybody's got to come in if you want a shot at it.
Wow, right.
And adhering to COVID protocols were very interesting, but it was also interesting to see the type of people that came out, right?
Uh-huh.
Because there's the ones that are scared that are never going anywhere. Oh, it's not a self tape, forget it, But a lot of the people that came out, like by the end of it, like we had the mask and everything, and the plastic whatever, and spraying everything down.
Everything, yeah.
But by the end of the casting, like we were hugging each other, crying.
Oh,
It was like
really?
the
Yeah.
first time in months they'd have been out of their house.
Yeah.
But they're coming out to get a job.
Well,
You know what I'm saying? But they've made the effort to come out and interact. And like I said, a lot of them haven't left their house in months at this point. So by the time they get over there and we relax around each other, breathe each other's air, have lunch, like they're going home and they're like, oh, this was the best.
it's such a breath of fresh air, because I remember even here at the studio, coming in here, everybody was in masks and everything was was super clean. Everybody, you get up and everybody's spraying everything, and it was that whole time was quite a thing, and people were just so happy now to be able to actually hug somebody, to actually and be near people without having to go through all that.
Yeah. And when we did the casting over there, because I was doing a casting for ultra conservative news network. Say that 3 times fast. And I actually scripted 25 shows for this network, and so I was casting for the entire network. And so at the end of the castings for each show, I brought the entire cast together on the soundstage, responsibly spaced. Not that it stayed that way for very long, but to see, like, because I wanted to see if I read the people right in the audition, right? So I paired this person with this person for this show, and this person with that person for that show, and this group for this show, this panel for that, and just kind of let everybody meet each other. And like, out of 25 shows, I think there's 2 shows that I didn't hit properly. One of them actually just needed a single person, so I shouldn't have had anybody else.
Right.
And the other one was some other issue, but like everybody that I cast together gravitated towards each other and like stuck. It was like a little chemistry experiment.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I have a lot of confidence in that. I'm really good at reading energy and seeing where that chemistry fits, that people can work off of each other. So that's my hidden superpower.
That's
I guess.
amazing, though. Actually, because Kimberly actually cast me in a film, so I'm grateful for that.
Oh, let's hear a little bit about that.
How was your experience with my casting?
It was excellent. You're the best casting. Actually, yes, it was a film that's premiering on September 28th.
Yes.
Actually, this
Savor Cinema,
yeah,
September
Savor
28th. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's called Butcher's Bill, and yes, I was honored to be a part of the film
Wow.
with director Alex Moreno. Kimberly was our executive producer.
Wow. Well, sure look forward to seeing that.
She was our producer.
And
Yeah, we just had a great time.
And where can we see that again?
Savor
premiere
Cinema.
is the 20th of September, around 2:45 p.m. at Savor Cinema, downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Downtown Fort Lauderdale.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Well, that's
We'll be there.
that's great. You'll be there
Oh my
in
gosh,
person.
is that
yeah?
next weekend?
I think so.
That's Saturday.
I know. So
Yeah.
get ready
A
for
week
the
away.
premiere.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
We'll be there all
everyone, red
gussied up and
carpet.
stuff,
Mhm.
ready to
Oh,
accept awards.
That's great. Wow. This is
Yeah, so-
exciting.
But Kimberly is an excellent producer, and I see that. So she's creative. Not only, I think it starts from the top. Really, at every shoot, it's always starts with the producer, the director, and they set the whole tone for the entire set. So
Yeah.
it allows actors, the crew, everyone to be in a safe space. That's really what you were talking
Yeah.
about. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
the way it works, I think film is a lot different than it was back in the golden era of movies. I mean,
Yes.
because I think back then it was
It's actual film.
Yeah, well, that was actual film.
Right.
Yeah, it's not even film anymore. It's,
Yeah. The digital
Digital.
media.
But originally, I think what it was the people who were producing it were these guys smoking cigars and just and they were running the show, and everybody else was just
Yeah.
below them.
I think now it's like starting to turn where it's flipped because the importance of talent can't be understated. Being able to take care of people, right, and provide an environment where they can be their best self and give you the best product because you're giving them the space and the support that they need to really flourish working with you.
Right.
I think that the onus being more on talent is so much more gratifying than having that situation with the guys, in the cigars and
Yeah.
like, oh, what are you going to do for me?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? How am I? You want to be part of this thing? What do you?
Right,
What do you got? What do you
and-
bring to the table?
And
It's not like that.
I think a lot, for women at that time, it was like, oh, what, it was just ridiculous.
Yeah.
And so now it's more like, I think everybody is more like a family, and
Yeah.
everybody works together, and it's not just.
And we call that Flow Family. It's our
Yeah.
hashtag for our
Yes.
thing. And it's like all the resources that we've been able to gather, right, during our tenure,
Mhm.
we freely share. We have thousands of filmmakers we represent. We have hundreds of filmmakers every year that we promote. And anything that we get to support them, we share. And then whatever it's very interesting because now we're kind of like in this bubble, right? It's like we all do something ancillary, right? Where we're all in the industry, but it's like if there's a casting here or a rap party here or this event there, like we just kind of all come together.
Yeah.
And now film is so much more inclusive, especially in South Florida, being that we're integrating film with art, product placement, with design from, Fashion Week and stuff like that. Like there's so many elements that are part of it.
Right.
The music scene, right? Now we're using
Right.
our local talent to score our own films.
I think Florida is really coming up as a hub for the arts, and that is all arts. I really feel that it is, visual art, performing arts, music, everything, and I think it's all coming together here. And this is like a great thing that Florida is finally getting its time.
Absolutely, in the art and tech space, right? So
Mhm.
last year we were honored. A good mutual friend of ours actually was working with Lunar Prize Blue, and they launched with the first rocket launch, right? Since the 50 years, I think it was. They started a museum on the moon.
Museum.
They started a digital museum on the moon that was supposed to last like 1 billion years or something like that.
Wow.
But
Digital,
they're
right?
putting it's all digital, but they're putting musical content, they're putting artwork, and Flow was proud to be part of that first launch. And now we are recommending other artists and films and stuff like that to be basically stored in this museum on the moon.
So
Not
you
in the
can have
cloud,
your
but on
artwork
the
on the
moon.
moon.
Yeah, absolutely. You
Oh.
totally can.
Out of this world.
Exactly.
That's,
Well, we're such a huge tech hub. It just makes sense, with all the other things we have going for us to make that a commodity and to monetize that,
uh-huh.
Yeah, and save it for posterity. So you got a lot
Wow.
of Florida represented, and Canaveral's right here, so you can go to
Exactly.
Well,
Canaveral
that's it. It's
and
Florida.
watch the launch of your artwork to the moon.
Right. That's pretty amazing.
Wow.
amazing.
Yeah,
Some people are doing great
the way
stuff.
things are going are really exciting, and all the. Have you seen a lot of changes or what you do with? You like to work a lot with tech for the movies, or do you like just working with actors as doing their thing?
That's a
You-
loaded question.
You know what I'm saying?
I've seen some
Oh.
stuff done with tech, and I respect it. I appreciate that there is
Yeah.
a space for it. However, I don't know if you've noticed, like you can tell when you get a robocaller, or you can tell
Right.
Oh,
commercials that are
Yeah,
AI. Like you
yeah,
can
I'm
tell. It may not be
getting used
glaring,
to that now. Yes.
but that's the difference. It's not getting better. We're
Mhm.
just getting accustomed to a lower level of like recognition.
Interaction or-
Right.
So when you talk to a person, like you can tell something's off with
Yeah.
AI.
Yeah.
You may not be able to put your finger on it,
I
but
know.
you can dismiss it because you realize it's coming, right? So
Yeah.
they're gonna be tweaking
I know.
it and whatever.
I always like to throw them off with a question out of the blue, and they don't know how to answer it,
Like,
because
what
they're.
did you say? Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, but like that, it's just I like to support the natural actor because I mean, tech's gonna be there. They can duplicate whatever they want,
Mhm.
and even now they can take your face and image or whatever and
They
do what
can.
they want, the deep
Yeah.
fakes, all of that stuff. But you're gonna have a generation, and I think COVID was a big part of that. That's desensitized to interactive, like human expression, right? That you took kids away from each other for 3
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
Put
During their
masks on
formative years,
everyone.
put
Yeah.
masks
Yeah.
on everyone.
Yeah.
They're having problems recognizing facial expressions and tying that to what it means. Is that a grimace? Is that a smile? Is that what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Right.
And the whole activity of the human face. So I'm definitely more so about supporting actors that can convey that in a
Uh-huh.
variety of ways and allowing them to develop that. I mean, tech is there. Tech is tech. It's fine. But I'm more interested in working directly with people.
There's always a human element that
Yeah.
has your sixth
You know,
sense
and
that senses
yeah,
things
that
you.
because there's the thing that they've been talking for a while that actors will be replaced by AI. And I don't believe that. I think as
I don't
long
think
as
so
there
either.
are people, I think there's got to be that because people relate to people,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Mm-hmm.
don't think that.
I don't know that AI is going to be able to convey the meaning and get the emotion.
Not
You know what I
not
mean?
really
Like,
because they
but
don't
then
have
if
the
you have a
ability.
generation of people who are not used to looking for the nuance, then it kind of takes care of itself, right? Because they
Yeah.
don't know anyway.
Right.
They've been walking around with masks
Yeah.
for 3 years, and then you put AI in front of them. At least it's a face. So I
Yeah.
get that, but I feel like as human beings, you know, the new generation needs to be exposed more to that because that's what they're lacking. They've been robbed of the
Yeah.
ability to deal, and that's what you see happening in our kids, right? You see the conflict that they don't understand each other. They don't know how to
Right.
read each other's body language.
Yeah.
They don't know how to read each other's facial
Yeah.
expressions. They have limited exposure to that, and then you stick a computer in their face.
They're
Well,
just
that's
on the
where I think
screen
they
all
need
day.
to
Yeah.
we need to somehow get them back to
Mm.
basics,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
get them out of away from the computers, away from the stuff, and
Yes.
and learn to work with people.
I think one of the ways that Flo's working on that is storytelling. One thing we
Uh-huh.
do is we have workshops and camps where we are teaching production skills,
Mhm.
which also bolsters the economy for production down here as well. But engaging in youth and not having them have this little snippet culture, right? Like we
Right.
want you to tell a story. We want you to tell your story. We don't want a snapshot into your life that's a minute of awesome,
Mhm.
right? We want to see the whole arc, and we want you to know that you have a voice. So one of the things that we do in our workshops and our camps is that the children will come up with a story, write it. We talk about production viability because we plan to shoot it, and whoever has the best script wins, and we shoot their production,
Mhm.
and then we do
It's
a documentary
amazing.
about their journey through that, and that content gets consumed by their peers because we can put it right into the school system.
Uh-huh.
You
It's
know,
amazing.
so they get an opportunity to like flesh out you
Right.
know 10, 15 minutes as opposed to these little snippets that they like to put on the social media.
Right.
You have to have a full coherent thought to
Right.
present.
Well, that's kind of a challenge for them, isn't it? I mean, to have to actually.
Attention
Do
spans have
something.
been, shrinking.
Oh my goodness,
It's-
their attention spans are like
Mhm.
nothing anymore. So they need to.
Yeah,
They
but they
need
need
to
a
have-
reason. You know what I'm saying? I'm
Right.
gonna tell you, if I tell Michelle, hey, if you write a script, I'll produce it. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing.
Mhm.
It's like no. It's like, if you ever wanted to see yourself in a movie, make it happen. Like
Yeah.
that's what we're telling them. Here's you and your 20 peers. You guys all write a script. One of you guys is gonna get a movie made about you.
Mm.
You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
that's the motivation for them to get their story. But then at the same time, find their voice in that space
Mm-hmm.
and know that they have more than a 1 minute
Right.
soundbite to offer.
Yeah, they have to know that. So tell us a little bit more about how you got started with Flow. How did this concept come to you? What inspired you?
FLOW stands for Florida Leaders Opening Worlds. So it is Florida based, although it's an international festival. And like I said, we started in COVID, so we had to go global because just the platform we built to execute demanded it. You couldn't, keep anybody out.
Uh-huh.
But after being in the industry, like I said, for quite some time, I found when I went behind the camera and I started doing production, direction, I just wasn't having conversations with people like me. Whether it be women, whether it be people of color, whether it be younger people. Because when I started,
Mhm.
I was fairly young behind the camera, in my 30s.
Mm.
I just wasn't seeing anybody that just fit the script to be me. Like there was no camaraderie there. So I was like, well, if I want to see that, I have to help develop it, just like everything else. Like I
Right.
be the change
Yeah.
you
You
wanna
want
see.
something done right.
Do it yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I started the festival to celebrate women that were doing what I was doing. Just trying to get through these days and break down the barriers
Uh-huh.
and encourage other young women, that to come in and do this. One of the biggest wins that we had this year is we have judges and selection committee and a board. It's not just a one-woman show. But one of our celebrity judges, Chan Lu, has a studio in Tampa. And this year, she launched her own Asian film festival. It's the first Asian
Oh,
film festival in the state.
Wow. That's wonderful.
But
Yeah,
it's
that's
on the back of
wonderful.
her working with us for the
Uh-huh.
last 2 years that I don't like. She didn't confer with me about it. Obviously I'm supportive of it. Like I broadcast it and
Uh-huh.
everything. But she felt comfortable enough in the space to do that and to
Uh-huh.
take the leap and do it.
Right.
And that's what we're here for. I'm not here to compete with anybody. I'm here to let you
Right.
know that if this is something you're interested in, your opportunity is here, and I'll champion you
Mhm.
taking that action.
Yeah.
Right.
Actually,
And do you like travel around Florida to different areas to see what's going on? Or
We have relationships all over Florida. I do my best to stay in Florida.
uh-huh.
Obviously, we have international interests as well. We had a really strong year last year with the Vietnamese community. Um, but yeah, like I like to know what's going on.
Mhm.
So I do peruse other festivals and stuff. We have some really nice ones down here, like the Miami Jewish Film Festival, Miami International Film Festival. I think Fort Lauderdale International Film Festival is running right now. That's a great one.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, and American Black Film Festival is, I don't know what month they're down here, but you have a lot of other worthy, spaces to engage in. But once again, for flow, when I engage in those spaces, it's because I'm creating a certain environment, right?
Uh-huh.
And it's very easy to like get tailored in, like what I mean. And for me to recommend you, I wouldn't encourage somebody to go to a festival that I feel they're going to be minimalized or overlooked or
Mhm.
And we are highly communicative, so I do take it the extra extra mile. But at the same time, like what's the name? We have a sister film festival down here that's Miami Web Fest,
Okay.
and we share filmmakers back and forth with each other, and I very much support them, and likewise. But they create experiences
Uh-huh.
that are welcoming and inclusive.
Uh-huh. Are
Right.
are film festivals becoming more infrequent now that I guess that seems to be the thing.
Well, film festivals became a thing because it was something that was easily virtually done during COVID, and they couldn't have physical presence, right?
Right.
But
Right.
part of the beauty of what film festivals have actually done, and I don't know, I mean, some level of intent, because one of the things with Flow Film Festival, if you win at our festival, you're guaranteed mass media distribution, right? If you win. So we have a direct line for that. And I think a lot of distributors now, even the bigger guys, because at the beginning of COVID, they were buying each other's libraries out. You know what I
Ah.
mean? The big studios. Well, what do you do when there's no more libraries of,
Yeah.
ancient content to buy?
Right.
Yeah.
You have to go for new content. Where are you going
Right.
to find the aggregate of that much content? At the
Right.
festivals, because that's
Right.
where everybody turned to. So now, as a film festival, I thought it was something very like pie in the sky. Like
Uh-huh.
we have a lot of gravitas in this space, especially when it comes to independent filmmakers. And so I think that the onus is on us as festival owners and founders and managers
Mm-hmm.
to take responsibility for that. You know what I mean? Like you are in a unique position to curate a certain type of content that will be disseminated to the masses. So I think that
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to just going with the lack of a better term, going with the flow
Yeah.
and doing what's already been done
Right.
that we see is not working.
Right.
You know what I mean? Take the opportunity and the fact that people are taking you seriously in this space. Like Cannes is bigger than it's ever been, but they're dictating the narrative. We all have a piece of that. So I think it's our responsibility to generate and curate and disseminate content that's a reflection of the impact we want to have in media in the world.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And I think the film festivals are a good way now for new talent to find their stage or to find what they do.
Actually, the last Flow Film Festival, a film I was in was won Best Comedy Short. Was
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Um,
so
Wonderful.
our Sharon Pfeiffer was our producer, and then
Uh-huh.
Michael Newman and
Yes.
LeVar. But we, it was amazing. We won Best Comedy Short, and
Wonderful.
yeah. But I mean, working with Kimberly,
Uh-huh.
it just flows.
Yeah. But I saw that, like, I think we were the first festival to award you guys. Because since then, they've gone on to do, like, a ton of stuff. Like, I see it everywhere now.
We have won a bunch of awards with that. A film called Lost Treasure. But
Yes.
but yes, so thanks for having us in that festival. But yeah, we had maybe won a couple, but yeah, it's been in a few festivals.
Uh-huh.
And just the festival circuit is great because so many people can see things that they would never
Yeah, they never
see,
sent to
you
see.
know?
Right.
I mean,
Right. You can see new talent, new productions.
Exactly. You find talent. I mean, and if you're at a film festival, all the creative people that you meet, it's just amazing. I mean, if so, tell us a little bit though more about Flow. We want to hear about how do we find
Okay.
Find it.
Well, you
How
can find
do
us at www.flowffm, which stands for Film Festival and Market. So flowffm.org. We are 501c3 and at least the festival portion of it. And we'd love to hear from you. You can leave comments. You can join our mailing list. Obviously, you can donate, but then we'll have our schedules and everything exciting up there. We're also on Instagram at Flow Film Festival Market. And yeah, you can email me, Kimberly, at flowffm.org for specific questions and stuff like
Okay,
that.
great. And where do you have a festival, you said, going on now?
Well, our festival officially launches on the 27th of February.
February.
It runs through the 3rd of March.
Okay.
And the theme this year is called Togetherness,
Uh-huh.
for better or worse. And we will be screening films at the Savor Cinema, which is also where our premiere is on this Saturday. And we were looking at taking over the entire New River.
Okay.
front.
Now, one thing I'd like to know is, are the films that you do, are they full-length features or short features or both?
We do all of them. We also have a screenwriting contest portion. We do music videos as well. We've actually had really good success in taking shorts and having them developed. So one of our first world premieres was this film called Mob King, which is a Ciro DiPaggio production. And he has made great strides. They, and alongside us, went for the Academy the first year out. You know, we got consideration. They actually ended up turning that Mob King into a feature, which I believe is now available on Amazon.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they, they start somewhere and they get some air, you get some funding. People want to see more.
Right.
So,
And
yeah.
that's kind of how
And
it
if
gets
they give it
started.
back to us to screen the feature, we'll do it again.
Yeah, yeah.
I have no problem with
So
that.
that's,
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a launch pad.
So that's great. We've, it's been really nice having you on our show today. I think we've learned a lot, and I hope that everybody is interested in seeing the film festivals and everything. And you can contact Kimberly,
Kimberly at flowffm.org.
and that will be great. That films are still around, folks. So don't ever think that they've gone by the wayside, because I think they're still in production and they are still doing well. So, and I can't wait to see your film. That's going to be that's going to be an awesome thing now coming up. So anyway, thank you, ladies. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Kimberly.
Thank you, Jay.
And we really appreciate this. And anybody out there, if you are a creative person and you would like to be on our show, please contact us at 1-888-994-4995, and we would be more than happy to get you on our show so we can talk to you about your creative opportunities. And so for this week, thank you, and we will see you again next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for watching Inside the Artist's Mind. We hope you enjoyed the show. Tune in next week as we explore more about the artist's passions and inspirations.